Hello and welcome back to Module 3 of 4 of the EPIC time management system. In this video, we're going to be talking all about intentionality, focus, maximizing that, destroying distractions. Raise your hand if you need some of that, right? All right, let's jump into it. So what we're going to be covering today, again, intentionality, is step 3 in the EPIC time management system. So we started with evaluating, getting brutally honest and crystal clear with where are you now, so that way you can calculate the route on where you want to go. That's really important to evaluate. Then we moved into prioritization. So we talked about having one priority and then everything else can support that, staying in one gear at a time, either in this 20-minute stretch when I'm working on something, or today, this is my priority, this week is my priority, this month is my priority. What is that? Staying clear there so we're not kind of, just constantly struggling with this transition. Things are lost in transition. So we want to stay in one gear, be, prioritized, and we're moving into intentionality to maximize your focus. The next video is going to be all about consistency and momentum. So what is intentionality and why is it important? So when it comes to intentionality, I like to use the analogy of the North Star. So my intention is to be here. My intention is to get this done. My intention is to feel this way. Whatever that outcome is for you, make that your North Star. Make it something that's going to pull you towards that. So that way it makes intentionality a little bit easier. So how many times have you felt like, you're being pulled in 6 different directions, you're trying to focus on 4 different things, you're very busy, but you're not feeling productive. And that is a recipe for burnout. That just doesn't work. So what I want you to do is be super intentional with how you are spending your time. In one of the videos, we counted out the $24 for the 24 hours each day. So it's how are you spending, how are you investing your time each day? What is that North Star? And we want to be intentional each hour, each day, each week and month as we're getting closer to that. So what I want you to do is give yourself permission to strive for excellence, set that standard for yourself, and by design, not perfection, because that's just setting yourself up for failure. How many people do you know that are perfectionists? And even in society, we use that as a negative term, yet people take pride in saying, well, I'm a perfectionist, so it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be perfect. Isn't that a weird kind of disconnect there as society looks at perfectionists as this is a negative thing and perfectionism, and then the individual looks at it like something to strive for? So what I want you to do is aim for just under that. I want you to go after excellent, which is very different from perfect, but they are real close at the same time. So I want you to say, I had an excellent day. I had an excellent week. I got a lot done. I had an excellent experience with this. And if we try to chase that perfect, it's like chasing the wind. It just doesn't work. This was a huge shift in my life. And a lot of the people that I work with is just having like this little mindset tweak to say, I'm striving to be excellent. I have excellent standards for myself, but I don't have expectations of others and outcomes and different things like that. It's just setting yourself up for disappointment. So we're not after perfect. We're after excellent. So hopefully that gives you a little permission to take imperfect action. And again, we want to be fiercely loyal to that outcome, but flexible on our path. So yeah, the North Star is there. Or if I was to drive from New York City to Los Angeles, California, it's not often that I'm pointed exactly at LA. It's, I'm kind of in this direction, but I'm trending towards, I'm going west. That is the direction that I'm going there. That's where I'm going to land. But it's okay. There's going to be wind shears. There's going to be maybe a detour, and maybe that runway isn't perfectly lined up. Maybe you don't have to circle the airport to come in. So it's okay that it's not a straight line. It's not going to be a perfect, easy path that's smooth with, little ponies and butterflies. Life is an adventure every single day. So I want you to be flexible on that path. If anybody has been hiking, sometimes there's a tree there. Sometimes there's other people on the trail. You need to move. You need to be willing to be flexible on your journey. Even this alone is a huge mindset shift for people. So where do you start? Your cartoon Ryan is being smashed in the face by one of those cartoon punching gloves. Remember when those were in cartoons all the time? This is a question that I asked myself because I know that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask yourself and others. So when this hit me one day while I was driving, I was feeling a little overwhelmed a few years back. I had a new baby at home and running my own business, doing a lot of different things. And I was feeling some of those, flames of perfectionism and flames of overwhelm. And I said, well, this is I want this to be sustainable. I want this to be a long-term thing. I don't want to be burned out. I want to enjoy this. So I asked myself, where in my life can I reduce the randomness? How can I have less squirrels? How can I not chase all these different shiny objects? So ask yourself, where in my life can I reduce the randomness? And when we start to identify these different variables and set some healthy boundaries for ourselves and for our time, life gets a heck of a lot easier. So one thing that I tell a lot of people is you can either deal with acorns or oak trees. So you can deal with a small problem, you have to bend over and pick up that acorn and put it somewhere, or it's going to grow into an oak tree and then rain down more acorns and more problems. So you have to determine, where are some of those acorns in my life that instead of it growing into a much bigger problem, let me deal with it right now. So this is something that I share with a lot of people. So think about, where in your life can you solve a problem very early on or even before it arises? So again, setting standards for yourself and setting those expectations and boundaries, maybe even your umbrella to keep some of those acorns away. So this is something that is going to be super helpful for you. It's going to keep you focused. It's going to keep you productive, and it's going to keep you moving towards where you want to be. So this is a initiative that I started, and it's called Your Ideal Week. And what I want you to do as we're going through this is think about, what are some things that I could do to create an excellent week for myself. So this is not your perfect week. This is your ideal week. We're going after that excellence, not perfection. So I want to give you an example of what I do, and then you're going to be able to build a one-on-one version of this. And this has grown and changed, as I grow and change, and the world is a big adventure. So I'm willing to modify this here and there. Some things I evaluate and say, well, I could do this a little bit better. Other things I evaluate to say, this seemed like a good idea, a good hypothesis, but it didn't pan out, and that's okay. I'm not going to keep forcing something that didn't work. So for me, on Mondays, I do management Mondays. I'm not available for meetings. I manage myself, my projects, my clients, my leads, different things, my appointments. I get all my notes ready for all my appointments, my notepad. I get everything I need to set myself up for a week of success. And then I'm available for appointments and sales calls and speaking engagements and masterminding and going out to lunch with prospective clients. That's focused on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then Friday is very similar to Monday. So it's, follow up Friday or future Fridays. It's working on some of those bigger picture things. And when you think about working in your job versus on your job or your business or your family, whatever you're working around, think about, where can you reduce some of that randomness? What would be a great flow for your week? So when I asked myself, where can I reduce the randomness? I said, well, where are my cancellations coming from? My last minute reschedules, my no-shows. I'm going to take a guess they're coming from Mondays and Fridays, because Mondays people are manic. By Fridays, people are burned out or checked out or have decision fatigue. So they end up pushing it off to next week. So what if the meat and potatoes really happened on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? So I went back through my Calendly. I did some research, and history never repeats itself, but it often rhymes. And there it was, Mondays and Fridays, the reschedules, the cancels, and people were showing up and things were getting done on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So it was very awkward at first to delete two of the 5 days off of my Calendly availability. But when I did that, it was very freeing. It allowed me to slow down a little bit, get more of the right things done. I got more done in less time, and I was more focused Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I brought the best Ryan to everything that I did, because I managed myself. I managed my workload on Mondays. Friday was all about follow up and building future projects, some of those crock pot things, and not a ton of interaction with others, because a lot of people were burned out by Fridays. So think about, for you, what would be a great flow for your week? So I'm just going to go through some quick examples of what I do. So again, Mondays is management Mondays. I'm prepping for my appointments. Exploring expansion. I do Mondays and Fridays. What can I do a little bit better? How can I make this easier? How can I make it more fun? And have some of that intentional progression. And I shave. So that way I look clean and crisp for Tuesday morning meetings. Even something as simple as that, putting it on your ideal week and flow reduces some of that randomness of you look in the mirror and, oh, I should have shaved a few days ago. Now I have to rush and do this and add this to my morning routine. I know that Monday evenings I shave. Tuesdays, I know I have set meeting times from like 11 to 2. I'm available for that mastermind session. I protect that time. I set up those healthy boundaries, and we have Taco Tuesday at home. And then Wednesdays is my long day. So I work with people in all kinds of different time zones. So I'm pretty much 8:30 to 8:30 every Wednesday. And I'm okay with that because I know that on Mondays and Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I'm there for T-ball practice. I'm there to occasionally, do a date night or go out with a friend, do fun things and have some of that flexibility, embracing that Wednesday is my long day. And as part of that, I take myself out to lunch once a week. And you go somewhere new, you try something different. You don't have to prep it, you don't have to clean it up. And if you focus on lunch, this is a random side note here. If you take yourself out to lunch and you spend about $10 every week, that's like $500 a year. It's not that much. And you have that nice thing to look forward to, a little treat each week, and you want to keep it healthy. You don't want to go crazy, but lunch seems to be accessible. So I enjoy doing that. It's a little reward to myself, and it's also right in the middle of the week. So it's a little celebration. And then I have meetings from 6 to 8 p.m. And there I go with my shaving again. So I look good by Thursday morning. And then Thursdays, reviewing this week's appointments, and I'm also washing one of the cars. So again, just putting simple stuff like this into your ideal week makes everything easier. Then you don't, look out and get all stressed out, say, oh, I haven't taken care of the car. There's brake dust all over the wheels. It's no, every other week, one of our 2 cars is getting cleaned. And then Fridays, I have some standards for myself that I want all my inboxes to 0. So Facebook and LinkedIn and email, I want to get that down to 0. I want to review next week. So that way I have a bit of a forecast. Celebrate my wins and lessons, not wins and losses, it's wins and lessons. And then pretty much every Friday at noon Eastern, I have an open office / happy hour. So I realized that in the spirit of how can I reduce the randomness, sometimes people don't always want to book a 20-minute call or a half-hour call for a 5-minute question because they respect my time and they're busy as well. So I decided to say, hey, I have an open office hour, just like a college professor. Here's the Zoom link. If you have a question, you want to come say hi, you have a random thing you want to talk about, I'm free for that hour. There's no agenda to it. There's no template. It's just, I'm here. And it's been super helpful. So if you can have a version of this, whether you're a manager, maybe you have 1 hour where all your staff know, hey, I'm fully accessible to you. It's great support as well. So to recap, where can you reduce the randomness in your life, in your business? I want you to sit down and design your ideal week. I want it to be a 101 version. I don't want this to be the perfect week. Again, we're not going for perfect. We're going for excellent. Maybe it's 1 thing a day or 2 or 3 things a day that's going to help that progression, that success sequence for you throughout the day. And again, stay in 1 gear at a time. We talked about this in all the modules. Of I want to put that car in 1st gear, and then 2nd gear, and then 3rd gear, not all over the place because we lose all that momentum in the transition. So I want you to go create your ideal week. Again, version 1, make it simple, keep it easy, make it accessible for yourself and achievable. Then in 2 or 3 weeks, add a 4th thing, add a 5th thing, see what works, see what doesn't, but create that success sequence to just make things a little bit easier for yourself. So I will see you in the next video. We're going to talk about consistency and momentum. And just as a summary for the Epic time management system, it's all about evaluating where you're at, getting honest with that, right now or this week or this month. Prioritization, having 1 thing you're going for. What is that 1 thing that's going to make everything better? Everything is going to support that. Intentionality, having that North Star, staying on focus, reducing that randomness, taming the squirrel or the gremlin, if you like that description. And next, we're going to move into consistency. We'll see you soon.